So, trying to take advantage of being outside a little bit before being stuck indoors. You know what I'm saying? Is that what they do down south? They're like, oh, it's not raining. Let's just go outside. And put that off till there's another day when it's rainy. You know, because doesn't it rain like every other day down there? Something like that. Put it off till tomorrow morning. You know what I mean? Tomorrow never dies. Who is the new James Bond? Is it that Idris dude? You know what I mean? I don't know all the actors' names these days. Idris Elba or something. Because I think Daniel Craig retired after his last James Bond role. So I don't really know who the new one is. Timothy Chalamet. He's got that kind of British look, that British Bond look. Anyway, Chariot card, Cancer on the bottom. End of June will be Cancer's birthdays, right? Mm-hmm. Look at that. King of Cups. Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. Must be your reading. King of Pentacles. You might be focused on your money right now. You're like, yeah, I'm a water sign, but I gotta have my money, bro. You know what I mean? If only the world ran on love alone. Right? The Sun card, Leo. Leo coming up after the Cancers, right? To wrap up the summer. It's like kicks off with, well, Taurus, spring. They get to experience some of the fun, right? Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, uh, Leo. And then from there, right, Virgo gets some, Libra gets some nice weather. Even the Scorpios sometimes, but then it's like Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Pisces, and of course Aquarius. And did I already say Pisces? Can't remember. Anyway, we get the more indoor stuff, right? So now that we're like halfway into the year, officially, it's like, yeah, we're coming out of those hibernation zones, right? So it's kind of like, yeah, open up the shades, let some fresh air in, what I mean? Especially at nighttime is a good time to open up some windows. If there's a cool breeze that comes through. Ooh, look at this, Wheel of Fortune. We just had that full moon in Sagittarius, so your lucky planet of Jupiter, which is visible right now, by the way. Um, it's kind of to the northwest of Venus when viewing. Okay. So that might be significant for somebody, especially if you are one of these water signs with this King of Cups here, okay, that I pulled, which was the very first card, right? Okay, I had to pause whoever was trying to call me. I don't even know who, it's these numbers, it's just telemarketers. Anyway, Five of Cups. Okay, somebody could be experiencing a bit of loneliness. Okay, that could be as well because of, it is summertime. It's like maybe you're not around your normal crew. Justice card for the Libras there. Okay. So somebody might want to clear the air And maybe it is one of those things where they want to clear the air when it's like not a lot of the same, people around. Maybe it's a private matter. But with the justice card being there, that means it could be something, legal as well, right? And that could be a fallout from this full moon we had. Yeah, Page of Wands, or somebody coming to bring you this message. Maybe it's going to arrive by mail, maybe it's like a courier or somebody. And again, we have the Cancers on the bottom with the Chariot card. So somebody is definitely wanting to bring this to you, whatever this message is. Okay. Could it be a message of love, right? What was that in Back to the Future? And she's like, I get married in the chapel of love. And she's like freaking out, right? Walking around her house and everything. Okay. What else do we have today? Let's do this one, maybe. I think this is called the, excuse me, Mind Info Oracle. Yeah, yeah. So with whatever that focus is, that could be with that King of Pentacles, where you're like, especially if you are a King of Cups, you might normally tend to be, more of a giving type of person. See that empathetic side, be like, oh, well, hey, I can help that person. You know what I mean? I don't know why this one is stuck in there. Rando. Ooh, chaos. Literally stuck in the wrong deck. Chaos. So you might be focusing on your pentacles now, whereas before, due to your empathetic nature, you were stuck focusing on somebody's chaos. Does that make sense? And you're like, I don't want to be in their chaos. I didn't order this chaos. I rebuke this energy of chaos, because I don't think you can return the chaos to Amazon, but although I figured out some chaos that was going on with one of my payments. I must have changed it from like monthly to every 2 weeks. And because I just got a statement in the mail and I was like, oh my gosh. So I had to go back and check my other account. And it's like, sure enough, it's like, okay, so, they're being applied properly. But I was like, did I ask for this chaos? And that's when it's like, what is that one song? They're like, oh, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. You know what I mean? So it's like, is that something you asked for, or is that something that got set up by accident? Like, sometimes it just takes a little bit of looking to see where the chaos is coming from, right? Okay. Patience. You're being asked to practice patience right now. It's not easy to do this, but you're strong. And there's a reason why things aren't aligning in the way you want them to in this moment. That's one thing that's good around the full moon, is to release expectations, right? Expectations versus reality. You've seen those, like, oh, the pictures look like this. And when you get there, it's like, you know. Um, says, have patience. It will eventually work out. So again, Sagittarius is the Temperance card. So with this Wheel of Fortune, also giving Jupiter, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, um, have patience on how it's going to turn out. Just have faith that it will. Right? And I know we can't just run on faith alone, right? But yeah, universe is at right. He runs in my family having to learn patience. Let me tell you. You know what I mean? And again, if you're this King of Cups, this could be one of those things where it's like, you don't need to jump in and fix it. Have patience. It's going to turn out. Not everything needs your intervention. You know what I mean? For it to turn out. Just because somebody's used to calling your name or calling you up and saying, hey, so and so, I'm in trouble. I need your help. Well, okay, maybe that's one thing when they're 10 years old, but when they're 35, 45, 50, we can keep going, because we all know, these folks all occur in all lines of people's families and the workplace, right? There's that one person who you can just never get their project in on time for whatever reason. They can never make it to work on time for whatever reason, right? And it's like, well, I need help doing this. I need, but it's like, but they couldn't, get that uh, figured out themselves. You know what I mean? All right, I'm seeing what my dogs are doing here. This is like a how-to card. Worth. You're being asked to honor your worth. It can be so easy to feel that we aren't good enough or worthy of happiness. This simply isn't the case. However, you are worthy and you have inherent value. It's time to cherish yourself and see your true worth. So, this in conjunction with the King of Pentacles is telling me again, it's like, yeah, you might have money, you might be thriving, even, right? As a King of Pentacles, like, yeah, you want a new suit, you're going to go get a new suit, like, not a problem. There's no layaway plan that you need to worry about. That being said, your worth should not be just in what's in your wallet and playing upon your, empathetic sides of a King of Cups. You're allowed to, go and, buy yourself something without guilt of, oh, well, I didn't get something for somebody else at the same time. You know what I mean? You ever have that? You come back from, a little shopping trip. Well, what'd you get me? Why do I have to get you something every time? And it's like, are they doing that because they actually wanted something, or is it because they're trying to make you feel a certain kind of way tied to your worth? Like, oh, you owe it to me to do. No, I don't owe you. No, no, that's not how this works. Because people will look at a King of Pentacles energy and say, oh, well, they have all this, so I should expect for them, right? I should expect for them to cover the bill at dinner. Well, maybe you shouldn't be agreeing to go out with that person if you can't foot your part of the bill. You know? And then don't get all upset when King of Pentacles don't want to pay for you. You know what I mean? Kind of weird. It's kind of weird. It's one thing if they offer that. It's another to just expect it. Do you know what I'm saying? There's know the difference, right? And then there's accepting ingratitude and all that kind of stuff. What do I say about that? Stay out there. Stay out there. I'm not getting up and chasing this dog right now. I'm just not doing it. Pay attention. You're being asked to pay extra close attention to the signs you're being given, both the subtle ones and the ones that can't be missed. These signs will help you see how to best move forward in order to live your best life. Okay. So with that, pay attention with the sun card here. Um, you know, don't don't forget the forest for the trees type of thing. Like, see what, again, expressing that gratitude, saying, yes, I can do this. Yes, that makes me satisfied in life. Um, don't be looking to others who don't have the means in the first place to provide you with that level of understanding. You know what I'm saying? Check in. When you think about whatever it is that you're pondering, take a moment to check in with how you feel about it. Do you feel lighter or heavier, excited or filled with dread? Pay attention to your inner guidance. It's always so helpful. Okay, so on that Wheel of Fortune, you know, you might want to check in with how you're doing with it, right? Like maybe you have this goal, but check in and say, okay, are my expectations realistic? Or maybe it's time to celebrate because we got like halfway there. Or we're, maybe we're ahead of schedule, or maybe we're not quite on schedule, but we're really close. You know what I mean? It's okay to take take your eyes up from the project and step back for a minute and start, seeing what that perspective looks like. Yes, I'll be with you shortly. All right. There's a whole ramp there that you've never even tried to use. She struggles with the stairs sometimes, and I put this ramp there, and it's like I don't know why she doesn't want to try and use it. Because it even has grippies on it and everything. You know what I mean? Leave her alone. Jump in. You're being asked to take a chance and give whatever you're questioning a try. The stars will never all align in just the right way. Sometimes you have to take that leap anyway. This is the time, okay? And this is with the Five of Cups. So no matter how you're feeling about the situation, like it's never a bad time to start, right? Oh, look at you get up those stairs just fine. Oh, you didn't even need my help, did you? Get away from her. Get away from her. Just relax. Relax. On our drive today, he was about like going out the window again. And then he jumped into the rear hatch area and back like oh my god. Boundless energy. Boundless. Anyway. Didn't I? I had to roll the window up on you a couple times. Make sure you didn't squeeze your little body out there. Especially since we were parked. You know what I mean? Because in the car, I think I've told you guys this already. In the car, he jumped out once before, which I think he actually was able to get the window down with his paw. Now, I mean, I double check the child locks when I'm in there like almost constantly. It's sad actually. Um, but I kind of had checked them before, but I didn't think he was gonna, jump out of a moving vehicle. But sure enough, he did. But and then we saw other dogs on our ride ski today, so it's like, oh boy. I had to make sure the windows were up high enough that he couldn't even like get his whole head out of there. Because once he gets his head out there, he was uh, putting one of his arms through the window too. Trying to like go play with another dog, and it's like I can't. Yeah, you were. Mm-hmm. You look so innocent, don't you? Anyway, jump in, right? Yeah, who thought that having two dogs was going to be that different than one? Jump in and find out, right? Jump in and find out. I don't know how those people do it that have like the whole farm. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you get anything done? I mean, it's like, I feel like my whole day is just like feeding these two anyway. Do you know what I mean? And of course, you have to give them their medicine and all that jazz, but to feed them, and then there's the treats in between, and making sure they get outside to go potty, and taking them for a little ride, and it's like what? Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. This is why I didn't, when I was working long hours, I didn't want to have uh, a dog because it would just be horrible to be away from him for that long of time. So now that I work from home, it's a little bit different. You know what I mean? But still, some days I'm like, okay, modifying the schedule. Uh, bravery. You're being asked to make a tough decision that you've been putting off because of fear, which is understandable, but you have the strength and bravery to make this decision. And you will feel so much lighter when you do. Interesting. So this might involve this justice. I mean, for some people, the justice card can also represent a divorce. So sometimes when you have a separation, right, that occurs, okay, and you would need to be brave in those circumstances, right? Give. One of the best feelings we can experience is giving to others. When we do so, we feel lifted up in our lives, improve greatly because of someone else's happiness. Think of one way you can give to another today. Okay. And that is with the Page of Wands. So, again, somebody could be giving you a message, or you could be giving somebody a message too. Maybe you're giving somebody advice. Maybe you're giving somebody a pep talk. One of those things that maybe you didn't get right, and you think, well, maybe somebody else could use that. You know what I mean? Because you know it's not easy, right? It's not easy sometimes. Okay. Celebrate on the bottom of the deck. You're being asked to celebrate a recent accomplishment, no matter how big or small. What was I talking about in this check-in part, right? Lifting yourself back from the project and saying, wow, I've made a lot of progress here. And maybe I made more progress here than I even did in this other area that I thought I was going to, and la 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 la, right? Celebrate recent accomplishments, no matter how big or small. Do something special to commemorate the moment. You deserve that. And so much more. And so much more, right? So, for those of you that are looking kind of for your ride or die here with the Chariot, isn't that like you're so much more, right? It's like, yeah, you can do it alone, but it'd be fun to share it, right? And maybe that's the thing, is maybe you're in that spirit of abundance where it is good for you to share in that celebration, right? Okay. I don't know what else I have in here that I really want to share with you guys today. Maybe we'll do this one. The light worker deck. Somebody, I don't know, is that an app that you're talking about that in the comments? I'm not familiar with that. I don't know what all of them are. Somebody said dill pickle pizza. Oh my God. I like dill pickles, but I don't know if I would ever put them on a pizza. I'd rather have dill pickle on a hamburger or cheeseburger than on a pizza. But hey, get wild out there, folks. It is Friday, right? Where I live, some of the places serve fried dill pickles. Usually with a dipping sauce of some sort. Yeah. Get grounded. Empaths, highly sensitives, connect with nature. So, if you're somebody who's sensitive to, say, crowds, large gatherings, you know, I mean, maybe one of those people, you're just like, I don't, you're like, I don't do crowds, I don't do, but you can still go out and experience, the grandness of nature, and that will make you feel more at ease, right? So, how do you know if you're empathic or highly sensitive? Probably because you're watching this channel, for one. There's lots of different videos on that topic, specifically on YouTube. Some of it is, I would say, trauma related. So I wouldn't get too tied up in it, in terms of, oh, well, you have to have this many things on this list to be considered to be an empathic person. Anybody can feel sympathetic or empathetic at any given time, right? But is it something that you routinely do? It's kind of that King of Cups thing where, more thinking of others in terms of emotions and whatnot. Okay. Um, and if that's the case, sometimes it's like maybe you need to take a step away from that, right? How do you feel for a change? All right. Did anybody ask you how you were doing and actually care to listen? Right? That's the other part too. Did they actually care to hear what you had to say, or were they like, "Oh no, that doesn't happen to you," or "No," or were they dismissive? And it's like, well, if they were dismissive, then it's like it gets, you know, put in that purgatory of the throat chakra, right? Where it's like, okay, I had this to say, but I guess I'm not going to say it because, right? Getting out in nature, connecting in nature, those types of things can help you express that more fully. And you're like, what? Some people are going to be like, what? I'm not a tree hugger. I don't go around talking to the trees. I'm not saying you have to do that. The trees might start talking to you, especially if you have a brew on your hike, right? Just saying. Allow, you hear the birds out here, you can kind of hear the breeze, the leaves rustling. Allow nature to talk to you in that way and bring you that peacefulness. It's like it's an active meditation. A lot of people think meditation is only sitting in stillness and going like this and saying om. No, there's a lot of different ways people can meditate. Part of meditation is being in silence. You'll find when you're out in nature, sometimes you don't feel the need to be hopping around. Yeah. Right? Not everybody needs not everybody needs to act that way. Yes, I said act. Council of Light. Oh, thank you about my dress, by the way. Yeah, I got this I think at TJ Maxx or Marshalls at one point in time. Council of Light, divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. All right, so you had that King of Pentacles come out, right? This could be something where like nobody expected you to have it, right? Um, but these helpers that you have, your spirit team, right? Your guides are like, oh, yeah, we're figuring it out for you. Don't worry. Yeah, I'm not even joking. So, and maybe it's one of those things. Maybe you're a king of cups who all of a sudden you won the lottery or something, right? Or maybe you got some unexpected bonus at work. I mean? It's something like a windfall, right? Um, and you could be like, well, I don't know if I should even be having this, and maybe you don't have the best track record with money. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who have struggled with finances. I've heard some tales, but your guides are going to help you through it. Mirror, who or what is triggering you? Okay. So with that sun card energy, as you move through the summertime, you might um have a period of time of reflection. The days are longer. Maybe you get to kick back outside, just spend more time in nature, period, right? Kick back outside more, right? Maybe start working on some hobbies more, okay? And then you start to see the reflection. It's like, oh, is that what I was thinking about? Okay, that's interesting, right? It's kind of like what I was saying that a reading I had a while ago: assess, diagnose, fix, right? You have to assess first, right? Some people think they can bulletproof relationships. It's not possible. Because what ends up happening is there's always a boundary, right? That somebody, you know, is going to have, or they're going to realize they needed. And then you might have to say goodbye to the relationship, right? So, but did you know that boundary was there? Well, well, until it was crossed, maybe you didn't know, right? It's like, well, answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? Okay. So that is on with this 5 of cups and this focus, right? If you're feeling that sadness, feeling that emptiness, it's like, okay, well, what lifts you up, right? What do you like to do? What gives you enjoyment? And sometimes we get enjoyment from things that we didn't have time to do before because we were doing other things that we enjoyed. But maybe we've grown out of those things for whatever reason. Maybe it's just a natural part of aging, you know? So it could be in your time to start doing something different, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. Yeah. You'd be like, well, I always used to do this to unwind, but I can't do that anymore. Now okay. Well, what what about that did you like? You know, is it because it was a physical activity? Okay, write down physical activity, and then start looking for one that better suits your body now. Maybe you needed to go to the aquatic center type thing, or switch to something more low impact. We're only guaranteed a certain amount of time on Earth, right? When we make our bodies perform to the max at different times in our lives, how much to the max do you think you can go in other times of your lives? Maybe that it's like the rubber band. You know what I mean? You're stretch, and then you have to kind of loosen it up. And yeah, maybe that arm gets a little flabby under there, but every day are you training for the marathon, or do you have other things going on in your life? You know what I'm saying? The crumbling. Ooh, this is like the tower card. What are you clinging on to? So, however, this message comes in, and like if you check in with yourself, because you could be like, oh, well, normally I would feel really upset, right? But it's like, do you need to be, right? Are you, I mean, how upset are you supposed to be? Again, when you release stuff with the full moon, when you realize it's like, yeah, that, if we're going to cut the crap, right? And when we check in and realize we don't need that crap in our lives, it's time to feel better about ourselves, right? In those moments. We don't have to cling to these walls that we've built up to keep out other people that don't appreciate us, because those people are still going to be on the other side, and you're already here. It's like, who is it in the Bible story when she turns, you know Lot's wife, right? Just one more time I have to look and see. Well, how many times are you going to do that when and all you see is this sad looking wall? I don't know about you. I don't like looking at that. Doesn't bring me joy, don't bring me happiness. So why cling to it? Al Green, love and happiness. You can see in these windows, it's like there's the storm in the window. So we already had our April showers. The Mayflowers are already here. Okay. The Mayflowers here. The Mayflowers here. Deep replenishment, rest, retreat, be held. Okay. So some of that could be being held by the universe as well, especially as you go out in nature, right? And if there was somebody who made you feel like you didn't deserve that happiness, that pleasure in life, they're wrong. And it's not for them to judge you. It's not. And let's face it, some of those people that like to say things like that want to see you in misery, they have some serious mental issues. It's like, why would you wish ill will on somebody? That's just like weird, right? So if you're having problems releasing, okay, because of the negativity, you could just say, I wish them well and I release any future knowledge of their being. Then, go about doing whatever it is you're doing. What were you doing before they came around? You know? It's like there's some clouds that want to rain, but it's not. I don't think it's going to rain right now. Not where I'm at. Although it was forecast for today. So I'm a little disappointed my garden didn't get a drink of rainwater like I was hoping it would. But anyway, I picked some lettuce yesterday morning to go with my taco salad beef that I made the other day. So I also used the grill yesterday because it gets, it's just too hot to be doing stuff in the kitchen. Unless you want to have, your AC turned down to what, like 65? With the price of gas these days and what electricity is like, I don't know. I don't know. So I try to limit it. It's more humid where I'm at right now. So anyway, okay. Alrighty. That is really all I have for you guys today. So do like the video, especially if you were in the chat today. Thank you for those that have already liked the video. Remember, you do not have to be a subscriber in order to hit the like button. Okay, so I'll never even know who you are. It does YouTube doesn't show me your identity. It's not like on Facebook where you can see if somebody liked your post or not. So, or if you want to keep me in your algorithm, right? Definitely hit the subscription button and you will be probably notified more often when I have a reading and whatnot. But you can simply like the video, and I've found that that seems to get your favorite creators to pop up in your feed on, at least on the YouTube app. So I kind of go through phases of who I watch on YouTube or what I'm watching, but um, there's a lot of good movies on YouTube. Especially if you have the subscription for the YouTube Premium, which I think they just raised it like a few dollars, which I wasn't happy about when I saw that come through. I think it went from like $13.99 to $15.99, if I'm not mistaken. So, but I don't have like Amazon Prime. You know what I mean? I don't have a subscription to that. So, um, like it's really my only streaming that I'm paying for. So I've been excuse me, taking advantage of the movies that have been available for free with the YouTube Premium subscription. From Brazil, hola. Buenas tardes. Sorry, I do not speak. No se habla portuguesa. Although some Brazilians do speak both Portuguese and Espanol. from from my knowledge. Then you have the European people who they all speak each other's languages. I mean, it's that's not uncommon for them to speak 4 or 5 different languages over there, including their home country. But it's so similar, right? Um, in terms of geography sometimes and stuff like that, where what you're only going 50 miles and you're in a whole nother country. So you know interesting concept. Brazil, though, I wonder in square footage how big Brazil is compared to the United States. That'd be something interesting to go Google today, because Brazil is pretty big nation down there. I would imagine the majority of its population lives in the coastal regions, but I know they have farms and ranches and all sorts of things in the middle. So, anywho, sorry guys. Maybe that was that bratwurst I had earlier for lunch. I had to hit our local grill cookout. They're still selling bratwurst over there for $3 a pop. So, and they are good. And then I get and then I use the thing, put my onions on it, and then they got all the other stuff if you want mustard or relish and other things. So that's what I did today. Anyway, so I did not cook. Like, I ran the grill last night, so I was like, I'm not cooking anything today. So, anyhow, until next time, please do manifest wisely. Bye bye. Enjoy your weekend.